I heard a podcast. It was talking about how someone's roommate moved out and they didn't know how to pay their bills. So they started renting out their extra bedroom on Airbnb. So I just thought it was genius. And literally that night, I'm not even joking, I listed it on Airbnb. And then within 2 days, I had a booking for a week. And that week booking actually paid for my entire rent. So I was like, this makes sense. Let's take this on the next level.
It's time to stop spinning your wheels, wasting time, money, and energy building your brand alone on social media. Hi, I'm Sophia Spallino, the host of Social Equity, the podcast, here to help you build your own profitable personal brand, the social equity you can rely on to make the money that you deserve. Are you ready, Miss Future Millionaire? Let's get into it. Greetings from Tuscany. I am going live right now from Italy in a beautiful Airbnb with beams that you can see on the ceiling and these beautiful stone walls. So I'm hoping that this is a live that you're getting to enjoy rather than just tuning into the podcast. I'm so excited about talking with my guest today because this woman is from my hometown, my small hometown of Lafayette, and also has built a huge business that she runs from anywhere in the world. And before I dive into like her fancy little bio, I want to tell you about Avery because I think what's really interesting is we actually both met in person one time whenever we were both really struggling to find our way. We didn't really know what we were building influence for. And we were doing some modeling and some makeup together, and we were both really clueless like where we were in our lives. I had just come out of the divorce with a man that treated me poorly, and I know Avery was going through so much in her life as well, which I'm sure she will share. But it was definitely a journey. We both met at a low point, and it's really cool to reconnect now about 6 years later and just see how much has changed. It's truly wild what can happen in such a short amount of time. And when you listen to this episode, I want you to know that it's evidence of anything that you want in your life, you can go get, and that it doesn't take that much time. So much changed in just a year for us, and then now it's like 6 years later looking back like what the heck. Anything is truly possible. I'm not just saying that. We're going to tell you how we did it. And I know many of you are going to listen to this not only on our feed, but on Social Equity, the podcast. So thank you guys, podcast listeners, for tuning in. I want to say a quick little prayer to get us started. Thank you, God, that everything that we share today is just going to just be landing on the right hearts, no matter when you're listening to this, whether it's on the podcast show in a couple months, we're recording this May 22nd, or now today, that exactly what needs to be shared is shared, and that it's not our words, it's yours. Okay, let me read a little bit about Avery before she comes on. Avery, you can go ahead and send the request to join. I'm gonna read a little bit, so here we go. From a challenging upbringing with a single alcoholic mother to facing struggles of addiction and homelessness during adolescence, Avery defied the odds. Now the proud owner of a 6-figure Airbnb property management company, and as if that's not enough, a hotel in Costa Rica, the Airbnb queen attributes her success to faith and hard work. Same girl, same, faith and hard work. I'm excited to sit down with this inspiring woman, a fellow entrepreneur female from my state of Louisiana who triumphed over adversity. If you're a resilient entrepreneur, you're going to love this episode. Tune in as we explore her journey, delve into our passion for business, passion for faith. Avery is a devout Christian, and if you know me, I love Jesus and all spiritual paths, so I love these kind of conversations, and I want to learn how she empowers others through her courses on financial freedom, Airbnb, and remote income. Welcome to Social. I have so many questions for you because what you do is so much what I do, but also so very different because you are helping women and empowering women in a different way. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
So good.
You're in Italy,
You look so,
right?
yes, and you are in
Costa Rica. You can see them out.
love this. see it. Are you living in Costa Rica?
Yes, I'm living in Costa Rica. I've been here for about almost 2 years now.
Wow. And why Costa Rica? What about it was like that's your spot? Or is that where a lot of your business is?
So, yes, but it wasn't until I moved here that a lot of my business became here. But just visiting so many times, I just fell in love with the scenery, the wildlife, the flora. Just like spiritually, it just feels so peaceful and refreshing to be here.
I love that. One of my coaches lives in Costa Rica, and I'm always listening to her podcast while she's on walks, and you can hear all the animals, and I'm just like, your life sounds amazing. I love it. Okay, so everyone wants to know your story. In fact, I only got to know you very, very little from that one time that we met. Do you remember meeting in person and like
Yes,
doing makeup
of
together? Okay.
course.
Yeah, it
Of
was
course.
so like you were probably in a really shit situation, and so was I, right?
Yes. So, you know the place that you came to, where we did the makeup and the eyelashes
Yes.
and all that?
And
That
let's
was
not
actually,
name names or
yeah,
anything like that. Just
definitely not.
okay.
So during that time, whenever you came to the
Yeah.
house, that was actually my first Airbnb. So basically, I heard a podcast. I was looking for a business opportunity, and I tried different ones. Like I had the eyelash company, as you know. I fixed iPhones. I bred huskies. I had a plate lunch business. But none of these options were giving me what I wanted, which was to be able to work remotely and have financial freedom, right? So
What we
that's
want.
whenever I heard a podcast, and it was talking about how someone's roommate moved out and they didn't know how to pay their bills. So they started renting out their extra bedroom on Airbnb.
Wow.
So I just thought it was genius. And literally that night, I'm not even joking, I literally set up my entire place to be an Airbnb. And yes, I had air mattresses on the floor and no TVs, just in the living room. Like it was very ghetto. But back then, like, it was like 6, 7 years ago. Back then, that was like the standard. It was just Airbnb stands for air mattress B&B. So that's what it originated from.
No way, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So I listed it on Airbnb, and then within 2 days, I had a booking for a week. And that week booking actually paid for my entire rent. So I was like, this makes sense. Let's take this on the next level, you know?
Yes. Wow. Okay, so at that point, like you were struggling. I remember you having all these different businesses, and like I was doing so much of the same thing, like helping with my partner in different businesses. And I remember seeing your eyelash business and really being like, oh, I believe in it. Like you were so gung ho and like put in all your effort into it and your marketing, and just everything was as an entrepreneur does it. You're like, I'm not giving up. Like, I will make something work. And I'm so glad that you found the thing that's your thing. So, how long did it take to go from one to two Airbnbs?
It took about 4 months, I want to say. And then within 6 months, that's whenever I had 3 properties. So I originated in Lafayette, as you know.
Yeah.
And then I expanded to Baton Rouge near LSU.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I picked up managing other people's Airbnbs, but 3 of them were mine. And that's whenever I left my job. And I was making about 10K a month at that
Oh,
time.
oh my goodness. So, it took how many total to hit 10K?
So 3 of my own, and then managing a couple, like
Okay.
3.
Okay. Awesome. And so, what through this time can you tell my audience about like your relationships or your health? Like, what is your story? Because I know that it was hard. Like, I know it wasn't
Lord.
just, yeah.
Yeah. So I actually moved out of my place in Lafayette to Airbnb it. I moved in with my now ex-boyfriend, who was very toxic. We dated for 2 years, and I moved in after 2 years, and we found out within a month that we absolutely hated each other.
Oh my God.
So he couldn't stand that I worked on my computer. He felt like it wasn't real work, and he didn't respect that.
That was my ex-husband. Yes.
Girl.
And I still am so triggered. Like, anytime I'm with someone and I really like them, if I have to work, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And they're like, stop apologizing for working.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Like, it should be respected. We're still producing, so that's all that matters. So basically, I moved in with him. We lived together for a couple of months, and I was like, okay, I really need to put the pedal to the metal. Like, I need to get things going. So I was actually bartending at Twin Peaks along with my 2 Airbnbs. And that's whenever I saved up for my third one. And that's whenever I was able to quit the bartending job and go full force into Airbnb.
Wow. That's just so, what a journey. What a journey. So, how long did it take to get from Louisiana to being able to live wherever you want? Because I know
I would
people
say,
watching me now is like, how are you doing it?
yeah, so if I would have got mentors from the beginning, I think I would have been a lot faster because the first 6 months I didn't have mentors. And
Mm,
then, so I would say a year because after the 6 months, that's whenever I was like, okay, let me find out how these people are doing it. Like, let me learn from someone who's doing what I want to do. And that's like the shortcut to success.
100%.
So I had 3 mentors at the time, and basically learned a lot from them. One of them sold a property management company after 1 year for $8 million. Yes. Another one had 200 Airbnbs in New Orleans and still currently does. And then the third one, he has a course and he teaches people how to do rental arbitrage. And for those of you who don't know, rental arbitrage is the act of renting from a landlord and then re-renting out to short-term guests, such as like listing it on Airbnb. So it took about a year for me to be completely remote. But the way that I teach people how to do it now is that I teach them how to set it up right from the beginning so that you can work remotely from the beginning.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah, I always tell people it took me years and years, 9 years of experience as a social media strategist, then years of not understanding what to do, then $20,000 invested into coaches, then 18 months of me compiling all that information so I can give it to you in a 6-month course.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yes.
So,
You're paying for the pain we went through so you can have it the easier way. And I always tell people entrepreneurship is not easy. I will never lie to you, but it does get easier if you have a game plan that is proven and that works. So I'm glad there's one for your industry too. Okay, I wanted to ask you some questions. What was the moment whenever you decided something had to change? Like there was you could not keep doing the same thing that you were doing in your relationship or in your job. Like what was that for you? Was there
so
a low point
honestly,
or
yes, this might sound stupid, but I was in the oil field and working at Twin Peaks. I was doing everything, girl. Like I had so many jobs because just to keep up and invest into myself. And the thing that made me really want to leave my job was the fact that I couldn't have my lashes done. I couldn't do my nails. I had to wear shirts up to here and I couldn't wear makeup. And I was like, I can't even be myself. And I'm going to the same place doing repetitious stuff, which drives me crazy. I cannot stand to do the same thing every single day. And I
no.
just always knew, since I was literally in kindergarten, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur because, like you mentioned, my mom was a single alcoholic mother. So I saw that after many evictions and the lights being off, the water being off, I saw that money was a need and that you can't rely on other people for it. That's how I felt. So
Yeah.
since I was in kindergarten, I would sell like bracelets, coloring books. I'd have my brother helping me sell them, selling cookies. So I just always knew that I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that's something that I've heard. I know that's something I've heard again and again from every entrepreneur that I talk to. Is it's something that's in your blood since you're a little kid and you go to school and like maybe you'll buy a wholesale or a big bag of candy and then you split it into little baggies and sell it to the kids. And you're always finding ways to make money. Oh, hey, Caitlin, we love you too.
Mwah. I love
But
Caitlin.
yes, so we're always finding ways to make it happen, and then one day something will stick, something will work, and whoever's listening and doesn't know what their thing is yet, they know they want to do something different. Maybe you know that you are different the way you said as a kid. You knew you were going to be an entrepreneur. You knew you were not going to have the money or the alcoholism issues that your mother had and that you would do it different. People hear that and they're like, okay, I know that's in me. I know something's different. I know I was made for more. They just don't know how. I would encourage you to definitely watch what we're doing, because I know for me, learning from, like, it's like watching how someone moves through their life has been the biggest instrument, pivotal moments for change is when I see someone else and I'm like, there's evidence that it's possible for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, like as a woman, I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand jealousy because the way that it works, at least for me and my body, and that might be because I'm coming from a place of privilege where I knew as a little girl, I grew up in a good family. If I saw someone who had more, I didn't have like basic needs that weren't met like you probably, Avery.
Mhm.
But so I was able to think from this grounded, supplied for place, but not, still not the richest, most spoiled place either. But I was able to look at someone who had more and go, how can I learn from them? Because whatever they're doing, it's possible for them. And how can I apply that in my life? Like, what do I need to do different to get there? And that's something that I've carried with me through this entire journey as I look at my mentors who are making $100,000 months. And I'm like, okay, so what's my next steps? Let's go.
Yes.
Because yeah, if I can, you can. And if Avery can, you can.
And I want to
Okay,
make
so
something clear as
yeah,
well. There's nothing special about me that separates me from you guys. Literally, it's just access to information
yeah,
and just finding the right people to lead you. So I just don't want you guys to be discouraged if you didn't feel like you were an entrepreneur, born to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you hit
yes.
a different point in your life and you're like, I need to get out of this relationship. I need to provide for my children. I need to get back into this. That is still an opportunity for you. It's not too late.
Oh, that's so good. Yes, it's never too late. Some of my best clients are over 40, even over 50. It's never too late. Like some people are like, oh my gosh, technology. And it's like, no, like if you're able to post on Facebook, like we can figure this out. You can learn how to do this. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So one of the questions that you had put when I was like, oh, what do you want to talk about? Is a common question I've been getting asked a lot lately. And I have my ideas of time management. But for what you do, it's like you're literally own a hotel and you manage multiple properties. How do you manage your time? Is there a way that you structure your day? I think that's something everyone's kind of like interested in. Like, how does your day start? How do you get it all done? What does that look like, Avery?
So I always wanted to have the freedom to wake up without an alarm clock. So that's how I've designed my business. I would say the main thing for time management is delegation. So delegating
Mhm.
tasks that are not your forte, that you don't enjoy doing, or you're just not good at. So I have delegated a lot of tasks. Majority of the tasks are delegated. So it's just the structure of how you set up your business. And all I do now, like 6, 7 years forward, years later, now what I do is just manage my property managers. So I just check in with them. They do majority of the work. They check on the maids, the maintenance men, the customer service representatives, and I just check in with them. And they just come to me if they have a problem they don't know how to solve. And most of them have been with me for at least 4 years. So they
Wow.
know how to solve these problems and they're just learning how to solve them again and again. So it's like, also, I create a lot of SOPs, which
Yes.
is standard, yes. So it's like a manual on how to do something. So anytime a property manager comes to me and asks me, hey, how do I do this? I create an SOP, I record it, I create a document explaining all the steps for it so that I don't have to do it again. So
Yes.
my main thing is that I'm constantly creating.
Yes. Constantly creating. I definitely see this in my life as my business grows. Every time I do a task myself or I have someone else do it, I'm always like, okay, let's add that to the SOP for this specific job because I never want to have to go through and have a whole day of training someone ever again. I did it once for an assistant. I was like, nope, never again. And now I have, I think, like 5 people working with me. So
Nice, girl.
yeah,
Congrats. I love it.
yes, it's crazy. But for standard operating procedures is what you were about to say when I was like, yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what an SOP is. So everyone, as you're growing your business, even if you're just getting started and maybe you're eventually going to hire someone to help you edit a video, the way you want that done needs to be documented in an SOP. And I literally put this in Google Docs. And for me, I didn't expect this to be like such a scaling episode, but for people listening who are scaling their businesses, when I hire people, I ask them a few different things, and it starts with like the values. I share the values of my company, like 3 core values, and then I ask them like, how does this apply to you, and how will you be able to honor this and it be like a guiding light in your life, or is it something you're just doing because it's a value to me? Is this a value to you? And I get them to answer that. And then whatever their job description is, it's like literally on Zoom, share your screen and design it or edit it for me or whatever it is. Show me exactly like right there on the spot. And then I will go ahead and have them sign legal docs to make sure like they're under their NDAs and whatnot. And then I will pass over the SOPs. So
Yes. That is great. Those are golden tips right there. So I hope you guys like took some notes on that. That was great.
thank you. I'm like, yeah, how much do I have to pay my coach to know that one? Or like how many years of experience to get the whole list? Okay, so how do you manage your time in your day, even if it's not for business, now that you have the
Yeah.
luxury of management? What does a day look like for you, Avery, who's living in Costa Rica, her perfect dream life?
So I like to start the day off with worship music, actually, meditation. So I wake up around 6 or 7 a.m. and then I worship and walk and meditate and do all of these things. I like to get in the sun, get some vitamin D for the first 2 hours of my day. So the first 2 hours of my day are all about me and just getting spiritually better, and just aligning for the day. So then after I get my workout, my meditation, and my worship time, and that's whenever I get ready. I start my day at 9 a.m. And that's whenever I'm checking on property managers, giving them tasks for the day. Hey, don't forget about this. Like, I kind of micromanage. I probably don't need to, but I do like to make sure that there's quality control. So
Yes.
from about 9 to 11, I'm delegating tasks and making sure that everyone is clear on what they need to do. And then literally from that time, I just see what I can improve on Airbnbs. I'll read over the reviews to make sure, like, okay, what are guests liking? What are they not liking? How can I improve it? So it's just working on the business instead of in the business, which is very important.
That's
And
so good. That's so good.
after that, I look at properties for my next investment. So I'm looking, that is literally the most important thing, guys, is knowing if something is a good investment or not.
Yeah. How do they
So
know?
I teach, that's my secret sauce. It's very in depth, and that is like probably the meat of my course, is figuring out if a property is profitable or not, based on its location. Honestly, there's not one certain rule that applies to all.
Yeah.
It's very unique to each city, but that's okay because I teach you how to read it from city to city, and you just learn like, okay, this is what we're looking for. So literally by the time you're done, you know how many bedrooms you need to look for in a property, what amenities you should have, and in what location.
Wow. And I bet trying to figure that out on your own, you'd probably be missing one thing that throws the whole equation off. And you think you figured it out probably after spending like a whole month of your life researching it. And you're still
Yeah.
going to get it wrong because you missed one thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So if you're listening
very,
and you're, what is it?
I said it's very specific. Like, you have to be detail oriented and just know your stuff.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're like, I want to get into this, how would they reach out to you to get that course?
Yeah, so I actually have a free training, that you guys can join. You can click the link in my bio or just message me BNB. So my Instagram is the Airbnb Queen. Message me BNB and I'll have somebody get in touch with you. We do like to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. We don't accept everyone, so that's why we get on a call first. We make sure that we align with each other's goals, because my success rate, my student success rate, is very important to me.
Yeah.
So if you're not a go-getter and you're not an action taker, then we probably aren't a good fit for each other.
I say the same thing. I'm like, please don't mess up my stats.
Exactly. And I only take on about 5 people every 2 months. That's just so that I can spend like really quality time with them. And lastly, I have 2 guarantees. The first one is if you get into the program and decide it's not for you, you'll get a refund within the first 2 days.
Okay.
And the second one is that if you, after you go through the 8-week course, let's say that you haven't reached your goals yet, that's whenever I'll work one-on-one with you until you do reach your goals. Because I want this to be more than just a transactional relationship. I want like a real relationship where I can, like, I love watching my students grow and thrive. You know, it's very important to me.
No, it really is to me too. We have a double or double in PPB right now as of May 22nd for legal purposes, 2024. The double or double guarantee, it's very similar to you. It's like, I want to make sure you succeed. So if you follow PPB and you get there at the end of 6 months and you still don't feel like you've built your profitable personal brand, we're happy to extend your program so that I can work with you longer. I really want to see everyone succeed. And we don't want anyone in the program that I don't see being like my next best case study. Okay, we've got the lady, Imani says, yes, love to hear this. I have a person I know would be perfect for this. Telling them to DM you now. Oh, yay. Awesome. Okay. What's the biggest lesson you learned throughout your journey? Because this isn't a little business that you built. What was the biggest hard lesson that you learned?
I would say the biggest thing that I learned is do not try to reinvent the wheel.
Ooh.
Don't try to be an innovator that comes up with new strategies. Yes, you can put your twist to it, but put your twist on proven methods that you see to work with a track record, a proven track record.
Yeah.
So that would be, so for an example, that would be working with a mentor and implementing what they're doing in their business into your own business instead of trying to figure out how to reach people, how to make guests happy, how to find properties, all of these things that go into it. Just do what's already proven to work. That's the quickest way to get to where you want to be.
And that was your biggest mistake, not doing that at first?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say,
always say
I wasted time like I'm not even joking, guys. I was spending like 16 hours a day running around like a crazy woman, trying to get properties ready, trying to manage everyone. And it just leads to burnout. That is no way to live, you know? That's no way to work.
That's very honest. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, I know for me, it was trying to reinvent the wheel until I was ready to invest and figuring it out the right way and putting systems in place. And actually, I always heard people say delegate. Actually, I may have even heard you say that for like about 2 years before I did, because you were already super successful before I was. And I would hear delegate and I would get so scared. So I was like, well, how do you have money to do that? But it's like, how do you not have money to do that? Because you won't grow. I mean, I think at a certain point you have to make some money. Like, it always takes money to make money. So once you're making something, then you need to just reinvest that back into that delegation.
But there's also ways to get started without having money. And that's what I call being the power of being broke. So whenever you're first getting started, you know how important these concepts are, but you don't have the money for it. So what do? So what I did was I hired interns. So for interior design, hey, you want experience designing properties? Okay, I can take you on as an intern. Or for an example, the property manager. I didn't have money to hire a property manager at first, so I did commission. So hey, you can get started and you're gonna make what you generate pretty much. So there's always ways to make things work. You just have to be creative.
You have to be creative and you have to make sure it's legal wherever you live. So yes, for sure. No, that's amazing. And I have always had interns reaching out. And at first I started like that too. Yeah, absolutely. Before anyone got any salary, there was, commissions and contractors.
Yeah.
The power of being broke, so creative. And did you come up with that? The power of being broke?
A long time ago. I don't remember where, but I heard it somewhere.
Okay, because I'm like, I want to start saying it, but I'll reference it, be like my friend Avery, because
Yes,
seriously, that is so good. The power of being broke. Like if there's a will, there is a way. That is what I've learned. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay, what I always tell people when you're engaging, when you're telling a story on social media, and for Avery's audience who's listening, I'm a social media strategist, and I always tell people lead with your story, then your values and your vision. Not only your vision for yourself, but for your clients and where they're going to go if they go on this journey with you as their service provider. What is your vision for yourself? Where do you see yourself going, Avery?
Yeah, of course. So my vision has always been to empower other people. Like I'm such a giver. So like I want to create generational wealth for my family
Mm.
while creating jobs and opportunities for other people. So I want it to be a win-win situation for me and my employees as well as my students. I want everyone to win. And I just look at what I'm doing is I'm taking the rental arbitrage money, which is renting from a landlord, then re-renting out, which is the cheapest way to get started in the real estate industry. And I'm taking that and I'm buying real estate. So I'm just purchasing properties. So long term, that's what I'm doing. And my main thing is just providing jobs for people and being able to provide for their families and stuff like that.
No, that's huge. I love it. That was one thing that really shifted for me in this last year as I've scaled up. It just feels different and it hits different every day when you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not just making money for me, I'm making money so we all can win.
Yes.
And every Monday, like we'll pray as a team and we all have like affirmations, and it's just really cool to know that you're making a difference for more than just yourself, which is
Yes.
honestly something I never, and people listening who are just getting started building their brand or building their business, maybe you don't picture yourself having this huge business. You just know you're made for more, and you can't even imagine what it would be like to have people who work with you. But it's really, really, it's something that will shock you one day when you wake up and you're like, oh, it happened. And one day you can wake up and have a multi six figure business like us because you take one foot and put it in front of the other every single day. I always tell people it's the small steps. Like, do you feel like there was ever like one really big step, or it's just like this compound? Because I think it's just been stacking energy again and again. Like something as simple as getting on this live. I'm in Italy. I could say, I don't want to go live today. I'm on a trip. Or I could just realize this is my life. It's freedom. And to maintain and to grow my business, I get more visible, get more visible, get more visible. And it's what you do to grow your brand. I feel like that's a small step, but I don't skip it. And that's what's got me to where I am today.
I definitely agree with the compound effect, doing small things every single day. I would say the biggest step is just taking that first leap of faith. Once you do that, it is compound after compound.
Yeah.
And I actually have one of my students on here right now. Her name's Lucy, it's Jetty Mom. And she is amazing. She started with me about a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
She has a property here in Costa Rica already, and she's flying out to meet me in about 10 days. So I'm super excited for that.
Oh,
And we're doing like joint ventures together. So I just say that to say there is room for growth. Like I am trying to build relationships with these people that I'm involved with.
that's beautiful. I think people look at people like you, famous entrepreneurs on the internet, people that seem unreachable, or like she's a celebrity in this world. She's the icon in her industry because you've built this huge brand. And they might not realize that at the end of the day, you are still just a person, and you're always going to be looking to grow your business and looking for those connections and genuine friendships. It's if I didn't love the clients I worked with, I wouldn't love what I do. Like
Yeah.
we're like truly end up becoming friends, and the live calls are intimate. Like I know about their lives, and it sounds like you do too. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love working with someone in integrity. It seems like God's a really big part of your business too. Like,
Yes.
do people
100%
know that?
sure. The center of my business.
Yeah. So So is that something that you get nervous about talking about? Because I know for me, especially as I speak primarily to the queer community, I know that the church really hurt me and hurt other people, but I've been able to separate God from church and
Right.
build this, yeah, relationship with Jesus and appreciate all spiritual paths around the world. And I am very open about that being a part of my business. Is that something people know about you?
So I would say on a personal level they do, but it's not something I promote too much. I do put like quotes, biblical quotes and scriptures, and I do refer to him a lot, but I try
Mhm.
not to bring up politics or religion whenever I do business in general.
Yeah.
But I'm not hiding him at all. Like, God is the center of my business, and I do refer to him a lot.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you for sharing it on my show. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time here. If someone wants to work with you, is there any keyword or it's going to that free training? Is there a link?
So you can message me BNB, and somebody will reach out to you, and we'll take it from there.
Amazing. Amazing. And if you're listening to this on Avery's platform and you know it's time to build your brand, become the icon in your industry, I would love to help you. My name's Sophia Spallino. I am a social media strategist and I help women build profitable personal brands in 6 months or less, primarily queer women, but I love my allies. We're about an 85% queer program. And I, for the same reason you do, created a program because I realized how much time I wasted trying to figure it out on my own. And I want to help you do it a lot faster. And that's the one thing, like, I would love to work with you. I'm sure Avery would love to work with you. But even if it's not us, do not try to figure this out on your own and waste the time. I always say, I don't know if you've done this, but it made me sick one day, Avery. I added up, like, I've lost like $700,000 by not knowing what I know now just a few
Mhm.
years earlier.
Yes.
And yeah, it's
I just
crazy.
had
It's like,
goosebumps because it's like so crazy.
yeah, it's actually sad because all I would have had to do for me, my story was I depended on my partners and I thought I was straight or tried to be straight, right, for a long time and depended
Mhm.
on them and really struggled for myself because I never built anything or saved anything or protected myself. And if I can help women not do that and build something on their own and not waste the time that I wasted, that is what I know I'm meant to do. And if you feel led, just reach out to me. If you need advice, give me advice and we could just have a talk. But if you're like, hey, I do want to build my brand, I know I was made for more, and like I know I want to be the icon the way we look at Avery and we're like, she is the Airbnb queen. If you want to build a brand where people know you and expedite that process, I'd love to work with you. You could DM me the word PPB, stands for Profitable Personal Brand, and I can send you my free training as well, which is intense. I don't know about yours, but I'm like, my free training's everything that I wish I would have
Right.
known.
Yes.
Yeah, like everything. Like even if you just got that, you'd be like, okay, I know what I need to do. Let's go. So thank you for being on the show, Avery. Thank you for sharing your life. Oh, I think I lost you. Are we freezing? Oh, oh, you're good. Oh, it's always your pretty nails. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay, well, if there's one last piece of advice you'd love to share with the social equity audience, what would that be?
I, I pretty much gave it to y'all. Delegate and don't reinvent the wheel. Those are the
Mm,
two main things. And follow somebody who's doing what you want to do. Don't take anyone's advice that doesn't have the life you want to live, spiritually, mentally, physically. Like, you have to align with each other in order. That's how I determine my mentor, at least, or who
I
I
love
take
it.
advice from.
I love it. And I would just add to that, like, we may not be able to take advice from people around us because I have a feeling the people around you have never done the incredible things that you want to do, like building generational wealth for your family, like Avery's doing. We may not be able to look around in real life and find people around us, but we're so blessed to live in a world where there is Instagram and you can find people who are just one step at least, but maybe 20 steps ahead of you. And like you said, if they don't have the life you want to live, then don't learn anything from that.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. So good. Well, have an amazing day. Go enjoy your beautiful day in Costa Rica. I'll enjoy my beautiful day in
Yes.
Tuscany. I'm going to go have
Thank
a
you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. I love that we got this time together, and I definitely will text you. You have my phone number, right?
Yes, I'll text you.
Okay, awesome. Have an amazing day.
You too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Congratulations for listening to another episode of the Social Equity Podcast. Every moment you invest in building your brand is contributing to your social equity. If you're an exhausted coach or service provider, or you're just getting started building your brand from scratch, I can't wait to give you the first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10 to 20K months. But why should you take my word for it? Well, I've spent over 9 years in the industry, amassing over 350,000 followers across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as hosting a top charting podcast, building a successful service provider business, and coaching powerful women to build purposeful, profitable personal brands. So yeah, you should lean in and listen to the social media secrets, sales tips, marketing strategies, and mindset hacks I share. I want to help you build your dream business that makes real money, leveraging the power of a personal brand on social media. Because you're ready to quit wasting time on content that isn't working and start bringing in the money you deserve as a purpose-led coach or service provider, sharing your gifts with the world. So for a limited time, I'm giving away your first steps to go from 0 to 5K months and advance to 10K to 20K months. Grab my newly revamped Profitable Personal Brand Blueprint, the proven framework to build yourself a personal brand that motivates, inspires, and sells so that your business can thrive the way it should. Just go to the link in the show notes. To ask me questions in real time, join me on Instagram Live for the live podcast show. The schedule is always posted on my profile. My handle is @Sophia Spallino. And if you're tired of posting without a reliable strategy and posting without maximal profit, just like many of my clients were before, then you want to join the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Many of you asked how you can get me to coach you on building a profitable personal brand like the one I have. That's why I designed this coaching program, so you could have me coach you, guide you, and mentor you. This is for female coaches, service providers, and entrepreneurs who want to be known for purposeful work and build an extremely profitable personal brand on social media without wasting time. Whether you're a novice at creating or you're feeling stuck hitting a plateau in business that once had consistent revenue and need guidance, support, and coaching to get to your next level, book a strategy call to speak with either me or my team to see if we'd be the right fit to work with each other inside of the Profitable Personal Brand 6-month coaching program. Mind you, I am very selective, and this coaching program is not for everyone because I'm only taking on serious, purpose-driven, and committed soul sisters inside of my community. If that's you, book your free strategy call now. The link is in the show notes. And if you feel yourself come alive and get excited to take radical responsibility for building your social equity, your personal brand that no one can take from you, leave a 5-star rating with a kind review wherever you listen to podcasts. And be sure to share the show with a powerful woman you know. And remember, with a positive mindset and a profitable personal brand, all things are possible. So go get up and go get what you want.